According to the book of Matthew near the end, he said for his disciples to go out and teach. Matthew 28:19, Go ye therefore, and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. That is because Yeshua Jesus was sent to the lost tribe, Judah, of Israel only. This is backed up by the book of Revelation 25-6, only his people first, Revelation 1:14-15 next, and Revelation 14:6-8. So, first it's blacks of lost tribes of Judah and Kedar, then after they are prepared to teach all people of all races. Once he had taught his disciples, they were to teach others who would teach the Gentiles to try to clean them up to civilize them as Abraham did by giving them a religion. That's why Jebusite Jews call Abraham their father, but we see after 2,000 years of Yeshua Jesus' teachings the Canaanite cannot be civilized. He worked with Satan, the Reptilian as Leviathan, and his spell of sorcery is found in Revelation 18:23, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries, pharmakia, were all nations deceived. Deuteronomy 18:8-12, the land is Canaan, Leviticus 14:33, the nations of that land were Canaanites and their tribes and races. The Canaanites Caucasus were into all kinds of divination, witchcraft, magic, casting spells, fortunes telling, enchanters, charmers, familiar spirits, necromancers, wizards, Satanists and secret societies. They worship their father the devil and use tarot cards and Ouija boards. They also use the symbol of the Baphomet. Note this symbol also has 2 stars and crescents. Also Islamic countries will be a part of the Brotherhood of Satan. The Canaanite race will never reform. Most of them still want to take things by force, kill for fun, hate, separate, steal etc. He will not reform. It's a Luciferian conspiracy that goes all the way back to Iraq, Old Babylon. Even in Samaria, a reptilian breed existed, a white race called Royal Draco or Albino. You find this in ancient texts possessing blonde, yellow, fur for hair and colorless blue eyes. They are even mentioned in the Noble's Quran as the guilty blue-eyed. The Noble's Quran, chapter 20-102, on that day the trumpet shall sound and we shall gather the guilty blue-eyed. Native Americans called them Kalani yellow fur, Leviticus 13:30, and 36 which mentions thin yellow hair of the Canaanites. Caucasus are in the Ubad culture dating from 5000 to 4000 BC. They worship lizard humanoids, Cynodon who are reptilian, mammals, and also the Stenonychosaurus inequalis. Sidon or Sidonia is the name of a region on Mars that was the ruins of a whole Martian city that was complete with pyramids. Many dinosaurs evolved from or mixed with reptilians and other extraterrestrial species and can be classified as reptilian. The term reptilian also applies to the creatures from the Draco star constellation. The Stenonychosaurus inequalis is one of the dinosaurs, which evolved from the gray and into the bug-eyed being. The Marcabian is spoken of in the Holy Tablets, chapter 3 The Scientist. The Stenonychosaurus is a missing link between the extraterrestrials and the reptiles who inhabited the earth. This humanoid reptile is just like the serpent that spoke to Eve in the garden. You see in the movie Jurassic Park, they made them able to speak, a speaking reptilian like in Genesis chapter 3. Canaanites today must eat meat with each meal, bacon in the morning, ham and cheese for lunch and liver and steak for dinner. They change their meat, but they have it and eat it almost uncooked. They call it rare. They are human meat eaters, carnivores. The Negroid black-eyed Sumerians of 4000 to 2000 BC depicted their Dingir, righteous ones of the rocket ship Dinir, righteous ones or deity as very human black men, not demons, devils, ghouls or the likes, which you see all over Europe on their church cathedrals, like gargoyles, but they are not found in Africa or Asia where you find dragons used in their symbology. We tried and tried again to reform him. He is evil by nature so he will not be saved as it says in Genesis 6:5-7. And Lord, Yahweh existing one, living one, saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord, Yahweh existing one, that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord, Yahweh existing one, said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man, and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. Most can't be civilized. We have done all we can for mankind, a type of man, the human beast, Behemoth. The word Gentile in the Holy Bible is not actually referring to a barbaric or heathen group of people. The word itself means a nation of people, and in the modem Hebrew you will see the word goy for Gentile also meaning nation, and Ummah in Moorish Arabic. If you look up this word in a dictionary of modern written Arabic by Han where the word Ummah comes from the root word which is defined as mother, source, origin, basis, foundation, original. Even when you look at the word Gentile in English, the definition of the word means of the same clan, but is often left to mean people that are not of the Jewish faith, a pagan or heathens who have no belief in a deity and even a human animal. Now when you look at this word Gentile in English, it comes from the word gentle through Middle English gentii, from late Latin gentilis, pagan, from Latin, meaning again of the same clan. Also the Nobles Quran says there are human jinn and the race of jinn. The Nobles Quran, chapter 15:27. And the race of evil demons we created from before, Adam and Eve, from a soul that is a poisonous fire, Naris Samun. The Nobles Quran, chapter 6-100, yet they made the human race of devils, al-jinn, partners with God, though he created them. And they ascribed to him sons, banin, and daughters, banat, without knowledge. Glorify him and exalt him above what they ascribe to him. So actually the word Gentile pertains to a people's genes, or genetics of the same clan, genealogy yours or someone else's. For example, the covenant of circumcision, which came from ancient Egypt, like all Hebrew laws, were given to the children of Israel for all members of the tribes as a sign of being a part of the covenant. In reality, man is under the false impression that Yeshua Jesus came with a new covenant, when the Torah was the new covenant. The new covenant Jesus was speaking about was none other than the covenant of Moses made when the children of Israel came out of Egypt. Most Christians are under the impression that the new covenant came when Yeshua, Isa, Jesus came. However, he clear said himself that he did not come to change the law but to fulfill in Matthew 5:17, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law, or the prophets, I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill." And Moses was that main law receiver. That means Yeshua Jesus did not have a new covenant of the laws. So, the question to the present-day ministers and preachers should be, why aren't the Christians following the laws of the Old Testament? Why did they allow a man named Paul to be on the same merit as the Son of the Most High, Yeshua Jesus? Why were the words of this man, who did not walk with Yeshua Jesus, allowed to override what Jesus taught us? Who deemed the laws of the Old Testament to be void, as said in Galatians 2:16, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Jesus Christ. Even we have believed in Jesus Christ, that we might be justified by the faith of Christ, and not by the works of the law, for by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. Again, this was a book written by Paul saying simply just believe in Jesus because your works of the law does not justify. The only new or renewal of the covenant came with Melchizedek, and who also made a renewal of the covenant with Jesus after he became a priest of El Elyon the Most High. That's one covenant. There were also other covenants made between the kindred clans of people. These types of covenants were agreements or promises. Like with Noah's Yesudra, the covenant of the bow or rainbow in the sky, was the promise that the world would not be destroyed by a flood again. Then you have the covenant of circumcision made with Abraham. Anyone from the same clan would be circumcised, and anyone who was not a part of the covenant made with Abraham and Yahweh, existing one, living one, Lord, Genesis 17:9-11, Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant therefore, thou, and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep, between me and you and thy seed after thee, every man child among you shall be circumcised. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. This covenant was so strong that when Moses had neglected to circumcise his sons, the angel of Yahweh, existing one, living one, Lord, was about to slay him. Had Zipporah his wife not circumcised their son, Gershom, his father Moses would have lost his life. Exodus 4:24-26, and it came to pass by the way in the inn, that the Yahweh, existing one, living one, Lord, met him, and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone, and cut off the foreskin of her son, and cast it at his feet, and said, Surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he, Yahweh, existing one, living one, Lord, let him go. Then she said, A bloody husband thou art, because of the circumcision. In the Nobles Quran 49:13, which speaks about how the Elohim made humankind into clans so that we would know one another although related, and I quote, O human beings! Verily, we have created you all of a single male and a second one, female, and we made you all into nations and large tribes that you may know about each other. Verily, the most generous of you all with Allah, is the most fearful of you all. Verily, Allah is all-knowing, well aware. During the time of Moses, when the children of Israel were in the wilderness, Yahweh commanded him to strike a rock in order to supply water to the 12 tribes of Israel. Numbers 28, Take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou, and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock, so thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. This is also mentioned in the Nobles Quran 260, when Moses asked for water for his nation, and we said, "Strike the rock with your staff," and 12 springs flowed forth from the rock. Verily, each of his people, 12 tribes of Israel, knew which was their drinking place. And eat and drink of what Allah has provided, and do not be the ones that makes mischief in the earth. Here is what's interesting about this word Gentile in Genesis 10:5. You see the word Goy used twice, once for Gentile and the other for nations, which reads, "By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations." Notice in some instances when you see Goyim you see divide, and in others you see divided into two. Now there is a difference between the two nations. 1. Hebrews 2, Goyim. Japheth the son of Noah and Naamah was the father of the kindred nation of Gentiles through his son Javan, who married a Canaanite of the Hittite tribe. Her name was Iris, and she gave birth to the Javaman named Kittim. This nation, although kin to the Hebrews by those children of Hud, Eber through Shem the brother to Japheth, they were Greek or Ionians, found under Strong's number 03120, who were Gentiles. These same Gentiles that Christ's or the Second Testament speaks about in Romans 2:9, where you see Hellen in the Greek language for Greek, Gentile. Genesis 10:5, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. Notice how the nations are divided. Now look at the quotes when it speaks about the nation of Shem. Genesis 10:31, these are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. Here it speaks about them being after themselves. Now look at Genesis 10:25, and unto Eber, Hebrews, were born 2 sons, the name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. This quote is letting you know that by this time the earth was divided and there was more than one nation or race of people, and that is the meaning of Peleg's name, and under the Strong's number 06389, this Hebrew name has a Greek equivalent Phalek, also meaning division. So this is where the Edomites divided from the Shemites. Edomites are Mongoloids and Shemites are Negroids. So you Negroids are Shemites, Hamites, Cushites, and Mizraimites. You have Orientals, Mongolians, Edomites, Javanites, Kittimites, and you have Caucasu, Canaanites, Sodomites, Amorites, Hittites, Sidonites, and many of these 3 families. 1. Negroids, 2. Mongoloids, and 3. Caucasoids, and split as Peleg or Pelag name means. They mixed and divided into many tribes, or clans. So the Strong's number is trying to make you see the word for nation and Gentile as being different words in the Hebrew, when they are one and the same, because many Judeans, Israelites, became Goyim Gentiles, Revelation 11:1-2, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise, and measure the temple of God, Theos, El Elyon the Most High, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. They left their clan, and family, and moved to marry, making allies, and become husbands, and all 3 words are Baal. You are not to mix your pure seed with them, or in other words get bit by the serpent, and have his venom in your bloodline. Leviticus 18:1-24, Deuteronomy 18:9-3, Deuteronomy 7:1-5, and Exodus 13:5-11. Note that in the land of Canaan there were caves, Genesis 50:12, for they were the caveman. Dinah was raped by Canaanites, Genesis 24:1-5. They were rapists because we were not to marry them, Genesis 26:34-35. Shechem violated the blood seed law of God again, which said don't marry them in Genesis 24:37. Esau also violated the integration law in Genesis 26:34, and was cursed with Mongoloidism, Down syndrome. The Nobles Quran mentions these Canaanites as guilty blue-eyed in chapter 20-102. So it's very clear who they are on earth today. They love nudity, nakedness, Leviticus 18:1-25. They as the devil introduced shame, Genesis 3:11-15. So he the serpent has an offspring, Zerah, children, offspring, physical people. Just like the woman, Eve has an offspring Zerah, offspring, children by way of Seth. So the devil mixed with Cain's seed producing Canaanites in the land of Nod, Nude to have a physical offspring of black devils and mix with the Adamites in Genesis chapter 6, Genesis 4:10-17. These are the generations of the devil when he was cast out of heaven to the earth to dwell for 6,000 earth years, not God years. For one day with the Lord is 1,000 years, Psalm 94 and 2 Peter 3:8. Many of us of the holy seed have fallen back asleep, as it says in 1 Corinthians 15:1, then they also which are fallen asleep in Christ are perished. Many have fallen asleep or left the path and the Holy Family and became a part of the Gentile nation, Akumim, Christian Palit Gentiles, also Goyim or Hebrew Judahites Gentiles. The Canaanites are living in the image of the beast, Revelation 13:15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Why? Because Yahweh is separating this nation of evil people, goats, from the good people, sheep. They fool you. They can be your own family. They can look like you, but there is always a sign. If they are of the disagreeable reptilians, they have bad skin. If they are evil greys, they are very short or extremely tall, even pointed ears, extra teeth or 6 fingers. Yes, they are in our seed, not just the Canaanites from blacks, but also black devils from us. They must be separated for us to move to the next spiritual level. We gave birth to human devils as mentioned in Psalm 48:8, Yea, thou heardest not, yea, thou knewest not, yea, from that time that thine ear was not opened, for I knew that thou wouldest deal very treacherously, and wast called a transgressor from the womb. Psalm 58:3, the wicked are estranged from the womb, they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. We must clean ourselves of them like breeding or grafting the devil out of our genes, which equals Gentile with Gen being the common root for both, like Jinn or Jinn in the Nobles Quran chapter 114. The Nobles Quran, chapter 114-6, he is from the evil race of devils, Jannati, and the human race. It speaks about this Jinn as a Jinn or John, which is plural form. Jinn is also found in the Holy Bible in Job 18-9, the Jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. The Aramaic, Hebrew, word for Jinn in this quote is pak, and means of calamities, plots, source or agent of calamity. We came to cast the devils out of us, out of our nation to join the devil's nation. So, the translator of the book of Genesis decided to take it a step further and change the translation of the word, when actually if you kept the word as nation it wouldn't make a difference in some places and in others it would. For example, in Genesis 10:5 you have, the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands. If you inserted nations it would read, the isles of the nations divided in their lands. Both are clear that is a separate nation of people that were chosen by Elyon the Most High, the people of Hud, Eber Hebrew, so why change it? Then when you look at Genesis 10:20, these are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. The word for nation, here again is Goyi, only in this case there is no need to imply a Gentile nation or even another nation because these are the descendants of Ham, who had 4 sons Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan who are all one nation from their father Ham, but one of them Canaan became a part of other nations. They became a part of the Gentile heathen nations. Canaanites, the albino leper, became Gentiles, heathen human beasts the cursed seed. The new servants or slave of the Ina Ushumgal as in Genesis 9:25-27, to serve the devil. Then there is another word for nation, Am, which is translated as people, nation. This is not to be confused with the word used for mother, although it sounds similar they are 2 different words. The first letter is different in each. One is a hard a sound, Ayin, and the other is a soft a sound, Aleph. Am, is also used for a kindred, and it is used in Genesis 11:6, and the Yahweh said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. In Genesis 17:16 Yahweh is speaking to Abraham about having a son, which reads, And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her, yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations, Goi, kings of people, and, shall be of her. Now in both of these cases this is a single nation of people. Now look at Deuteronomy 4:6, you have instances where both Am and Goi are in the same quote, and I quote, Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, Am, which shall hear all these statutes, and say, Surely this great nation, Goi, is a wise and understanding people, Am. So Yahweh knew they would mix their seed with Gentiles as David did, to give birth to the mixed seed Solomon who also mixed his seed, 2 Samuel 11:3, and 12:24, and David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And the shooters shot from off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. This leads Solomon's heart away from Elyon the Most High, into worshipping other than Yahweh, as mentioned in 1 King 11:2-3, of the nations concerning which the Yahweh said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their Elohim. Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. Again, this is just another clear example of how words are interchangeable in some cases and in others it is not. This also shows if you had an understanding of your own language itself there would be no need for a translation, but they know this. This is why America is the only one-language country to force the spell of the sleep of ignorance. Only Goyi, which has a Strong's number of 01471, is used for Gentile in Hebrew. In the Greek, you find Gentile as Hellene, which just means Greek, Gentile in Romans 2:9, tribulation and anguish, upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first, and also of the Gentile. You also find the word Gentile as ethnos, meaning Gentile, heathen, multitude in Luke 22:25, and he said unto them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. In fact, Hellenism is anything that pertains to Greek civilization, culture and customs. Now look at this word Hellene closely. The root letters in Hebrew would be He, lamed, which spells Halel, Helel or Hylel, Lucifer, the shining one, from Isaiah 14:12, the name for Lucifer the son of Shachar the morning, the dark one, both of which are names of the devil, demon etc. The original black devils are all the way from Cain, Canaanites. So in fact, to say Hellenism, you are saying Luciferians or devil seed or hellraiser, daredevils, their home hell, Hellenism. Yeshua Jesus told his disciples again not to go to the Gentiles. They were commanded not to go to the Gentiles or as the Greek put it, to those of Hellenism, as found in Matthew 10:5, these 12 Jesus sent forth, and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, Hellene, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.